Are you about to hire a contractor here in Georgia? Well, before you do, you need to discover how to protect your investment by confirming their credentials. It seriously just takes a few minutes. Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're planning a home renovation, building from scratch, or upgrading a commercial property, it's an incredibly exciting time. But let's be real, it's also a massive financial investment. And before anyone swings a single hammer on your property, you absolutely need to verify who you're legally getting into business with. Today, we're going to walk through exactly how to do that.
It's incredibly easy to just rely on a friendly handshake, right? Or maybe a glowing recommendation from a neighbor, or even a really slick online ad. But taking just a few moments to check a contractor's official state license, that provides essential peace of mind and incredible financial security. You want to be absolutely sure the person you're hiring is qualified, insured, and legally authorized by the state of Georgia to actually do the work.
All right, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover the risks of using unlicensed contractors, break down the 4 specific license types, walk through a step-by-step lookup guide, decode those search results, highlight some major mistakes you need to avoid, and finally, show you how to truly protect your investment. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Risks of unlicensed contractors, and the real dangers and legal consequences of skipping this verification step. A lot of property owners think that checking credentials is just, some administrative technicality. But here in Georgia, it is the absolute fundamental baseline for your legal protection.
Okay, so here is the magic number, $2,500. The crucial thing to know is that any general contracting work in Georgia where the combined cost of labor and materials goes over $2,500 legally requires a state license, period. This isn't just the best practice, it is state law. And actually, even specialty trade contractors, think electricians, plumbers, HVAC technicians, they have to get state-level trade licenses regardless of what the project costs. Bottom line, if you're paying over $2,500, your general contractor must be licensed. Picture this, you hire a guy to completely redo your kitchen and they turn out to be unlicensed. Under Georgia law, specifically OCGA Section 434117, contracts with unlicensed operators are completely unenforceable in court. It's like the contract doesn't even exist. So if they completely botch the job, or worse, just walk away with your money, your legal recourse is incredibly limited. Plus, unlicensed operators usually don't carry adequate bond and insurance coverage. That means if a worker falls off a ladder on your property or they burst a pipe that floods your neighbor's place, you could be held personally liable for all of those damages. When you use a licensed contractor, you get the safety net of required insurance, bonding, and state accountability.
Furthermore, licensed contractors are held to really strict professional standards. If they break board rules or engage in unethical behavior, they're looking at administrative fines of up to $5,000 per violation. They can face mandatory financial restitution and even lose their license entirely. And operating without a license at all? That is literally a misdemeanor offense in Georgia that can carry jail time. The state takes this very seriously, and honestly, so should we.
Moving right along to Section 2, Georgia Contractor License Types. Let's understand the 4 main categories of licenses out there. Because in Georgia, one size definitely does not fit all when it comes to construction credentials. So, there are 4 main tiers of licenses issued by the state. First up, we've got the Residential Basic License. This covers detached 1-family and 2-family residences, as well as single-family townhouses. Step up a level, and you have the Residential Light Commercial License, which gets into multifamily and multi-use light commercial buildings. Then we get into the heavy hitters. The General Contractor Limited tier allows for unlimited services, but there is a financial cap on contracts, usually up to $500,000 or $1 million depending on the specific parameters, and it requires the contractor to prove a $25,000 net worth. Finally, the full General Contractor license lets them do unlimited services with 0 financial limits on the projects, but they have to prove a minimum net worth of $150,000. So making sure the license actually matches your specific project scope is just as important as checking if they have a license in the first place.
All right, Section 3, Step-by-Step Lookup Guide. Let's navigate the Georgia Goals portal together. This is the fun part. It's completely free, publicly accessible, and surprisingly easy to use.
By following 3 super simple steps on the Georgia Secretary of State's website, you can pull up real-time credential data. First, just point your browser to the Goals portal. That's goals.sos.ga.gov and look for the Licensee Search tool. Second, the system is going to ask you to pick a search category. You basically just need to tell it if you're looking up an individual or a business facility. And third, this is important so the database doesn't time out on you, you need to enter at least 2 fields of information. So maybe their profession type and their last name.
But I want to give you a massive pro tip right here. While you totally can search by a contractor's first and last name or their company name, doing that can sometimes spit out dozens of really confusing, similar-sounding results. Typing in their exact license number is the absolute most foolproof way to do this. A good contractor should be eager to give this to you on their business card or on the estimate. Using the license number avoids those annoying database timeouts and gives you perfectly accurate, unambiguous results right away.
Section 4. Decoding the search results. What does all that administrative portal status jargon actually mean for you? Once you run the search, the status listed on their profile dictates exactly what their legal capacity to work is. First up, active. This is exactly what you want to see. Seeing an active status gives you the complete green light. It confirms your contractor has met all state requirements. They are totally up to date on their continuing education and insurance, and most importantly, they are legally authorized to execute contracts and pull building permits for your project right now.
Now, sometimes you might see this next one, and it sounds a little sketchy, but don't panic if you see active renewal pending. Georgia licenses actually renew every 2 years. So this status just means the licensees submitted a complete renewal application on time, but the state board just hasn't finished processing the paperwork yet. Under Georgia law, they are explicitly allowed to continue working perfectly legally, and they can still pull permits while sitting in this pending status.
However, on the flip side, this is your massive red flag. If the status says lapsed, late renewal, or inactive, they are strictly barred from working in the state of Georgia. Full stop. An inactive contractor is not legally allowed to pull a permit, they can't execute a contract, and they can't even legally advertise their services to you. If you pull them up and see this status, halt the hiring process immediately. Ask them for clarification if you want, but really, you should probably just walk away.
Section 5. Common mistakes to avoid. Let's talk about red flags and scams in the contracting world, because scammers and unqualified builders have gotten really good at flying under the radar.
First rule, never rely solely on verbal confirmation. I mean, anyone can print a fake string of numbers on the side of a truck, right? We also see a ton of issues with unlicensed HVAC operators advertising illegally. Georgia actually just passed a law cracking down on this because so many homeowners were getting totally burned by faulty, dangerous installations. And here is a critical warning. If a contractor tells you that you can save some money by going down to the permit office yourself as an owner-builder, absolutely do not do it. Doing that legally shifts all project liability, all the insurance requirements, and all code compliance entirely onto your shoulders. If something goes terribly wrong, that contractor can just walk away, and you are literally left holding the bag.
Section 6. Protect your financial investment. Let's wrap up with securing your peace of mind and how to actually report fraud. Here's some actionable advice on what steps to take if something goes sideways.
Ideally, you're going to pair your official license search with some supplemental checks, like reading online reviews and actually calling their references, so you never even reach a worst-case scenario. But if you do discover fraudulent credentials, or if a licensed contractor does completely disastrous work that violates building codes, there are exact state agencies you need to contact to file a formal complaint. The Secretary of State's Licensing Division handles professional code violations, and they have the power to discipline or revoke a license. But if you're dealing with a financial scam, billing fraud, or some kind of deceptive business practice, you need to report that directly to the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division. All disciplinary actions end up being public record, so by reporting them, you're helping protect the next homeowner too.
Just a quick professional disclaimer before we finish up. The regulatory landscape and state systems are always evolving. Policies change and renewal periods shift around. So always make sure you use the official Georgia Goals portal at sos.ga.gov as your absolute ultimate source of truth to verify current data before you sign any contracts or write out any deposit checks.
So ask yourself, are you truly ready to break ground safely? We've covered a lot of ground today, from the dangers of the $2,500 rule all the way to navigating the state's database. The peace of mind that comes from knowing your home and your hard-earned finances are in the hands of a verified, insured professional. It's honestly priceless. Please share this explainer with anyone you know who is gearing up for a renovation or a new build. And before you start that dream project, I want you to ask yourself one last time, have you verified their license? Thanks so much for joining me today, and stay safe out there.